I feel like everyone's got that one friend who's just blissfully unaware to the rest of the world. Like, they're not necessarily stupid, but that doesn't mean they don't do stupid stuff 95% of the time. For me, that was my one friend Bird. We called him that because he had hair that made him look like a freshly hatched chick. I have endless stories about the dumb crap he'd get himself into, but this one's about how many phones he managed to break in such a short amount of time. There's so many, in fact, that in order for me not to be ripping my horns out animating this, I'm only telling the first two. And yes, I mean there's like 7 of these stories. Now with that out of the way, a way long time ago, there was a period of time where both me and Bird were part of Cub Scouts. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like the baby version of Boy Scouts where you learn basic survival tips and go on camping trips. That too is a whole hellish nightmare, but that's for another time though. So on one of these camping trips, me and Bird were hanging out by a small pond. He had just gotten this dinky little flip phone, and he was so excited because he recorded Smosh's Assassin's Creed rap onto it, so he could play the shitty compressed version of it, even without internet. So he starts dancing to it, and as soon as it gets to the tomahawk chop bit, he spins around in a circle, extends his arm, and his brand new phone flies out of his hand, dead center into the pond. Now in retrospect, this is absolutely hilarious, but in the moment, Bird was freaking the hell out. In a panic, he stepped into the water to look for it, but it was way too far out for him to grab it on his own, so I eventually ended up holding his feet, but we were still too short. Eventually, some adult who was supposed to be watching us heard the commotion, and we somehow convinced him to hold Bird's legs as he dug through the pond muck with his hands. He eventually did find it, but at that point it was as good as a rock. And with that, the phone grave began. After that first time, Bird got one of his mom's old phones, which was a significant upgrade from the previous one. You'd think he'd take better care of it, but if anything, it only got worse. The next time it happened, we were heading down to swim in a local river with a couple of our other friends. We brought some apples, sandwiches, and white rice that Bird's mom packed for us so that we could eat while we were down there. And while we're looking for a place to set up, we see a rope swing connected to some random branch hanging off the river. While I'm thinking just how dangerous this looks, Bird takes off running and swings directly into the water. Bro comes up laughing, but then immediately a look of dread washes over him as he pulls out a now soaked phone out of his pocket. This time though, we weren't the same kids we were before. Thinking back to the first time this happened, we remembered someone saying something about putting a wet phone in rice so that it absorbs the moisture inside. And at this moment, we happened to have some rice that Bird's mom gave us. So we opened up our lunch and jammed that phone in there. Now there's a serious problem with this idea that we didn't know because we were dumb kids. This trick only works with uncooked rice, so in the end we just ended up with a dead phone and a bunch of mushy rice jammed to the ports. And with that, number 2 was no more. Let me know if you guys want to hear the rest of these stories, because the dumbassery only gets worse from here.